Hey everybody, Happy New Year! And I am kicking it off. This 2020, first one out of the gate, is going to be my most recent image that I've created and completed, and I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So for those of you that have been curious about the Zetas, yes, the Zetas, I'm going to talk about them, and I'm going to show you the image I've created so you'll get a really up close and personal experience with them, and I will share more about them. So don't go anywhere, and I'm really excited to share this with you. I'm super excited you're here today and watching this, so let's get started. Thanks you guys, and I'll see you soon. Greetings everyone, this is LIGHTSTAR. Welcome back and Happy New Year to everyone. I'm super excited about this 2020. I hope you guys are too. There's a lot of energy already built up and pent up from the end of the year and now into the new year. It seems very busy and a lot going on already. So I'm going to share today a bit about an image, one of my art images that I was working on for quite a while, and that I finally wanted to launch this in 2020. So I'm going to explain the image, talk to you a bit about it. So for those of you guys that know who I am and already have been on here for many years watching me, thank you so much. So honored. For those of you that are just joining for the first time, if you'd like to join in on the tribe here, you can do it. Go ahead and the subscribe button that's there to join this beautiful tribe. I call it just joining the tribe. And make sure to hit the notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. So let's dive in. There's been a lot of changes that have come about, especially towards the end of the year. And I just want to touch upon that because I know that on YouTube, especially, this whole thing that was going on about COPPA, that still is, was starting in enforcement on January 1st, 2020. So as I had told you guys in my last video about this, that I was going to be looking at expanding in 2020 to some other platforms. But for now, I'm going to be on YouTube as well. But it's just, I've expanded. So I already have a mirror image on BitChute. I will be, I believe, uploading some things to Brighteon and moving into some other areas as well. So stay tuned for all that. But if for all of you guys, just make sure to go on to my website, bookmark it so that you have it in case somehow, some way information goes away from YouTube here, that you will always have that bookmarked, and it's lightstarcreations.com. So that's the best place to find it. On my contact page, I do line up all of the social media platforms and different places I'm on so that you'll always know where to find me there. So let's dive in here. I wanted to talk about this image that I've created a bit. Now, I created this image, I've been working on it for a while, and this is my art image in the Star People series I've been doing about, I believe this is the 9th, maybe 10th. Yeah, I think it's the 10th one that I've done. I'm probably going to do 11 of the Star People. And this one was a little, I'd say, it was questionable whether I was going to do this particular race or not. And for a very good reason, okay? And it's a little bit of a toss-up when I'm like, which race wants to come in and which one do I want to do? Sometimes it's like conflicting. Like, I want to do this one race, but then I'm getting from my guidance and from spirit or for the beings themselves that kind of jump in the front of the line and say, no, you'd like to come first. It's kind of, not that they're pushy or anyway at all short like that. They're not like that. It's not like, oh, I'm cutting in line. But they just tell me that these energies are important, or maybe they want to come out for some reason, like in the moment. So that's kind of where I was at with it. And this is the Zeta race that I just completed in this particular energy. And I'm gonna show the image here so that you guys can all see the image. Now, I know that a lot of you guys are used to me doing a light language activation, especially when I have an image that is finished and completed at the same time. But here's the thing. Some of these races and some of these beings that I communicate with or get information from or whatnot are really more telepathic, and they don't necessarily have vocal tones like we do, and or even a tone that I could even do if they do have one. So so that's why I can't do every single, I mean, I speak over 20 languages that I've known that have been identified, but there are some that I just can't do a light language activation because of the nature of how they speak or how the energy is. And this is one of those beings, because honestly, if I were to do the light language, it would, or their language or a transmission or something, it would sound like, I guess, a bunch of like clicks would be the most, that would be the closest to what it would actually sound like. It's just a bunch of clicks and noises that are very difficult to make because our mouths are different. And so anyways, it's just something that I wanted to share because yes, I don't, always bring out a light language that is with every single race that there is. I mean, there's many that I don't even know about. So it's not like I have the inside scoop on every single race out there. As much as I get questions about all sorts of different races that you guys have heard about that I never have. So anyways, so that's kind of why I wanted to share this about, I don't have a light language to go along with this, but I want to share the image and talk about some of the things that are more important actually than that, so that you'll understand a little bit better. So let's unveil. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the image here so that you can understand it, see it as I'm talking about it. Okay, so here I'm launching. This one is called Zeta Spiritual Expansion. So ta-da, poof, here we go. So this is the image. Now I'm really excited because this one has a lot there's a lot going on in this image. So I want to share, first of all, the energy and the frequency overall of this image is very much connected to an ambassador. And that's what, this has more of a female energy to it. Okay, as you can see, there's more female energies. But the being, the energies was much more of a higher frequency. And I'm going to share some information about this. I was hesitant to come out with this because I thought maybe other races wanted to come forward first, or before this. But there is so much negativity about this race. It's very similar to when I did my Orion light language and also showing the image. It's very similar in that way, not that they look alike, but that the energies of intensity and especially all of the connotations that we have around these races that tend to be more fear-based, from people receiving like information and then getting fearful or feeling like these beings are low vibrational. So that's why I clarified in that Orion image about where I was coming from with that. And I'm going to be doing the same thing here in this, especially in this one, because this particular race has the most misunderstood of all, I feel. Even more, well, I don't know if it's more or less than the Orions, but definitely up there. So with this said, it has a lot of the energies coming forth. Now, and the reason why I want to talk about that, the reason why I want to go there is because a lot of you guys are having experiences with many different types of races, and a lot of people have experienced some of the more negative feelings or experiences that you have attributed perhaps to alien abductions and things of that nature, and they seem to be associated with the Zetas because everybody lumps the Zetas into that basket. So I had somebody, when I put this image up on, I believe, my Facebook page or something, anyway, social media page, and somebody asked that right away about, well, help me understand or correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't these beings very low vibrational? And I was really glad that that person asked that. I'm not going to point you out, so don't worry. I don't like throw you under the bus there about who you are. But I really appreciate you actually bringing that up, because this is the whole reason why I wanted to bring this image out and talk about it on this video. So let's go into the ambassador energies first of all that this is bringing, okay? So this being is actually more of an ambassador, and when I say that, it's really more of linked to the Galactic Federation. There are a lot of different beings that are working with the Galactic Federation, and they have many different roles, and a lot of the beings that I work with have ambassador roles. Partially because one of my aspects or multidimensional selves also got ambassador roles. So it's kind of like we kind of meet on those levels. And so I can bring through some of the different frequencies. Now, so that's the one thing. I'm going to talk about some of the things that are very specific to kind of the Zeta-esque, right? The Zeta characteristics or traits and things of that nature. But what I want to do first is I want to read the description card that I wrote for this particular art image. I'm writing talking about the essence. It's almost like the channeled information that comes first. And then I go into like the oracle information. That's like, because I'm writing, these are all images that are going into my next oracle deck. Yes, I am working on the oracle deck. As you can see, most of my new images are all going to be going into that second deck. So it's written in that way because it's written for the oracle. And then there's some realignments that I put in there. So let me just read this to you so you can get the overall frequency of the essence of this art piece. Okay, we bring greetings of peace and love. We are known as the curious ones from Zeta Reticuli. With a varied and multi-layered focus, we are teachers of advanced extrasensory perception, and we carry accelerated genetic blueprints for alchemical healing. Our skills and capabilities also include nervous system repair and genetic hybridization. We frequently exchange technologies with other galactic races. Due to our inherent and controlled emotional nature, we strive for excellence and spiritual expansion, which is why I named the actual art piece that. And then we're going to go into some other information. If you have been feeling confused, unclear, or insecure about your intuitive abilities, now is the time to ignite your inner navigator with newfound Zeta-like enhancement. Exercise your extrasensory perception skills. Look at your situation from a more expanded perspective. Change your vantage point and test your inner abilities. Open up to receiving spiritual data from alternative sources, especially those that stretch you out of your comfort zone. Be curious and reach beyond what you think of as possible. However, be very aware of your energy. If you have been pushing yourself too far, give yourself and your mind and body a rest, especially to regenerate those frazzled nerves. You are transforming. Focusing on spiritual acceleration will activate your dormant DNA and help you gain new healing insights. Spiritual and alchemical upgrades await, so be sure to pave a pathway for assimilation of higher energies. And then realignments here would be third eye meditation, light therapy, telepathic exercises, colors of pink and gold. We have pink carnation flowers, geranium and pink lotus essential oils, pink monkey flower and mimosa flower essences, and crystals of kunzite and spirit quartz. So those are some of the energies that come along with this particular art image. And so as you can see, there's a lot of different things that the Zetas have under their tool belt, so to speak. So, and I want to also share that when we talk about races, I'm going to talk about this first, okay? I was kind of like not sure which order to talk about stuff in But I want to share this first because one of the biggest reasons why I called this image Zeta Spiritual Expansion, and people would think, well, gosh, aren't they low vibrational beings? Or why would you call it that, whatnot? But the whole reason that I wanted to share about these beings is that, there are a lot of misunderstood reasons why the Zetas do what they do, what they're after. I also feel like this is the same with the Draconians. It's very, there's certain things that we don't totally understand everything about these beings. I mean, some of them are controlled by AI technologies, and so it's a little bit hard to, understand sometimes where the beings are coming from. And so when I looked at Zeta energy, is that they are very interested in spiritual expansion because of the controlled emotional nature that they have. Okay, so it's kind of one of the push drives, or like I said, one of their important, most important things to them, or priority, I guess you could say, is spiritual energy and spiritual expansion and expanding their abilities. But here's the caveat. Most of us, I guess, would think that to do that, to expand your experience, you would have to sit on a mountaintop, right? Or om for I don't know how long, or, just meditate all day. And everybody has a different concept about what that means, how to attain enlightenment, or how to ascend, or how to, all of that. Everybody's is different, right? Different perspectives. Some of us feel that it takes years and years, or maybe even lifetimes of this preparation process to expanding and growing and expanding and growing, okay? With the Zetas, I feel they have a very different take on this, which is what I feel makes them a bit misunderstood. To create that experience of spiritual expansion, they aren't as interested in spending time, like literally spending time, waiting for centuries for their advancement or something like that. They are more interested in seeing how this will evolve a new being, so creating a new being by hybridizations, by other means. And so that's what I feel is really important about this, because they have this other perspective about how to gain spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and expansion. And so we could look at this and judge that and say, well, you shouldn't be doing it this way. You should be doing it that way because that's the right way. Like, we all know what's right and what's wrong. Like that, those are such limited views and such judgments that come from our human misunderstanding, that we don't understand that because that's not the way we think of doing it, or that we're exposed to. But as we know, in other places and other races, there are many different ways to gain wisdom, to gain access to spiritual knowledge and wisdom. So they kind of want to do this without the centuries of, that kind of thing. And I know that some people could say, well, that's just skipping over. And well, we could judge everybody like that. Like, what you're doing is skipping over steps, okay? Yeah, we feel that there are steps to be taken. You can't skip first grade. You can't just go to third grade and skip first grade. You have to go to first grade. You got to go through the steps, right? That's how we are here. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong or bad or different. I'm very just trying to explain this in a way that we can understand, to expand our own mental experiences of how some other races might be and how they might think. So that's kind of how their goals are, I guess you would say. I don't know if they really have goals like that, but it is a priority to them. And I feel that they want to do this through a different way. So even her, you can see in this image, she's sort of a hybrid, okay? So this being has already kind of gone through some of that processes where the spiritual expansion has occurred from hybridizations. And some of those hybridizations are with humans. So some of that does involve us, like us having the contracts with the Zetas to be able to share whatever it is, the emotional, the genetic, or whatnot, or whatever they are exploring. Okay, so some of us have signed up for that. And I'm not, please don't get me wrong, I'm not putting this, like if any of you guys have had really super negative experiences with Zetas, or what you feel is Zetas, then I would also say that there are beings that look very similar, and that they are kind of like more artificial, and they are more like interested in doing horrible experimentation on just getting what they want, like taking instead of like being considerate. Okay, there are some of those beings out there. Not all of them are like that though. So I want to share the other side of it, because I don't even work with anybody in that realm. I don't deal with those kinds of beings. They just don't, you know, if they come around, I'm just usually like, I'm not interested. Okay, so it's kind of like, but some of us have contracted with that in that way, so that it can help with some of it, just to know in the first, you know, energetic exchange, to know if these are positive beings, benevolent beings, or if these are beings that are just really not out to assist in any way, and they're just trying to be getting, grabbing, taking, and not respecting. So that's, you know, I just wanted to go there. So that's what the main purpose of the positive beings that are Zeta, that are residing in the Zeta Reticuli region. There are many other kinds. It's not like it's the only one, but this is one that came forth. Now, the other thing I want to share about them is this is one of the reasons why I'm not doing the light language activation here, is because they have very high levels of extrasensory perception abilities. They're one of the most sought out abilities, basically, of I want to say of all the races. Now, there's a lot of races that are telepathic, but these beings are really up there. They've got one of the highest abilities in that intuitive realm. So you're gonna see them really being able to know how to manipulate energy with their minds, and with the energy of telepathy, of also intuition. Their intuitions are really strong. They have their intuition works more on frequencies and sounds than it does necessarily attached to feelings like we have. Our intuitions here in the human side are more on feelings, which is one of the reasons why they like to have our genetics, because that also helps them to access their human emotional side, so that they can expand that. But they're generally more intuitive by frequencies, by sound, and vibration. They're also really expanded in bilocating and also remote viewing. So some of these very much expanded ESPs that are all something that we seek after, they actually already are masters at. So that's one of the things that they very much have this skill set, okay, to be able to do that. And I feel that they also, like the benevolent ones, like to teach this as well. And they're very much interested in teaching the humans. So if you think about it, what a great mix is human and Zeta, because there's a lot of that hybridization going on between those. The other one I notice also is Zeta and Pleiadian. Very good mix. Why? Because the Zetas are interested in that emotional, and the Pleiadians have that in spades. So they're going to pick that race because it's got already built in the genetics of the emotional capacity that they lack a little bit. So it's kind of a great mix. And then we have the ability here for telepathy and remote viewing and by location even, but we have not expanded that, explored that like the Zetas have. So it's a really good mix. And that's why they're interested in creating that as a new Zeta human, is kind of what they're more interested in doing to expand themselves. So with that said, So that's what they're here, the teaching, the bringing forth of their skill sets. They're also extremely powerful and potent in their abilities of medical technology. And this is one of the reasons why I feel that we always see the Zetas portrayed in medical facilities. I know there was a scene of that I know that these beings were more on the negative side in the movie, in Jupiter's Ascent or Jupiter's Ascending, where there was a scene in there where these beings that kind of looked like Zetas and whatnot, they were like in the medical technology end of things, like doing stuff. Okay, they were trying to extract, and it was a negative thing. But what I'm saying is that they have skill sets in this area, though. We don't always have to look at them as like a negative thing. They actually have the ability to do a lot of good and to help in a lot of areas. And one of the areas that they do really well in is the nervous system. They're very adept at handling, regenerating the nervous system and repairing things of that nature. They also have a very good handle on the DNA, genetics, DNA, the nervous system. They're more technical in their way but they have a lot more technical skills than we do here, like our medical professionals. They don't really know anything about the nervous system. I feel like that's one of the areas I feel we haven't really scratched the surface of that, central nervous system especially. So I feel like the Zetas have a bit more, I mean, they're not like, if you just take a Zeta and it's not been hybridized, it's got a whole different system than we do here. So it's a little bit different, but they definitely have a lot of skill sets, and I feel they can be actually very helpful. The reason why I also like to, I'm going to bring this up because they call themselves the curious ones. And I thought that was curious to me. Like, why would they call themselves that? And it kind of like, I get this image in my head about them wanting to explore, wanting to look more deeply into like all the different areas of DNA, like the expanded version of what their limitation is on the DNA. What does it all do? What does this happen? How does this? They're very curious technically, and they bring these this curiosity to us here, as it's kind of an interesting. I feel like their personalities, if you were to call it personality, they're very different, obviously, but their personalities are very different and very unique as well. They do, and again, when I'm going back to them bringing information here and intuitive abilities and helping us to learn also to how to teach their extrasensory perceptive skills to us, to expand them. There's somebody that's just coming to mind is Sue Walker, I believe it is, that she connects with the Ponti, which are a type of Zeta Reticuli beings. There are other types of Zetas. So, but she deals with, she's in communication, constant communication. She's drawn them. And I believe that they also help to teach telepathy skills to people. So anyways, this is another example of some of these high-level beings that are here to teach and to help us and to exchange, and they learn from us. That's like part of it, is they're very curious. They want to learn from us. They want to know more about us. And sometimes they may do things in not such a great way. Again, they don't have the same exact, I don't know if I want to call it consciousness, but the same, kindness and like we wouldn't think of just grabbing something out of somebody's hands, but to them it's like they have a whole different way of doing things. So it's like different customs, almost in our own culture. It reminds me of like, I don't know if you're going to like anywhere over in Europe, really, people will come up to you like this close, right? It's like, you're in my personal space, like right here. But to them, that's like totally normal. I experienced that when I was in Spain, for sure. And when I was in Italy, especially too, I remember in Milan, I think it was in Milan or in Venice too. And people were just really close to you. And it was like right here, but it's a very natural thing for them. But here in, especially the United States, we're like, whoa, keep your boundaries, you know, this is my personal space. You know, you're like, it's just like at least, you know, a parameter here is not like right here. That's not normal to us. But this is what I'm saying, that some of these races is the same way, with different customs, different things that we have to understand about each other. So that's what I really wanted to bring, is that the Zetas that I'm bringing forth here in this energy are here to help you with intuition, with telepathy, helping to rejuvenate, repair, working with DNA, some of the abilities that they have that they would like to share. So through this energy, through the image, I'm not saying like, oh, okay, just work with this image and you're going to get all that stuff. What I'm saying is that the energies of the images here that I create pretty much have these codes and these symbols that are embedded within this, so that it can help to spark some whatever, you know, something in you that can help in that arena. So that's my explanation and my sharing today of the Zetas. Again, I want to just implore all of you to have an open mind. Some of you guys I know are going to have these experiences that you're just, no way, the Zetas are like all bad. And that's fine. Like, I'm not here to tell you this is the way it is and you should listen to me and not have your own opinions. Like, I would never do that. I'm just sharing my own stream, one channel, right? It's like radio station. You're just hearing like one kind of radio station here, one channel, and that I'm bringing this through in the event that some of you would also like to expand and open to maybe thinking about this stuff in different perspectives and different ways, and to know that you have the empowerment to bring this to your own self, your own higher self, your own energy field, to be very much into your own, like, you know, whether what's right for you, what feels right, what doesn't resonate, that kind of thing. That's very important for all of us. So in no way, shape, or form am I saying that this is the way it is. I just wanted to share my own experience of what this ambassador type of energy brought through from the Zeta. And I do feel it's an important time for people to see the other side, to at least open your mind. And I'm not saying to lose your boundaries on it, but I'm saying to just open your mind to the other side of things, the, you know, walking in another's shoes kind of experience, to understand something different from yourself. But to that's why I said, you know, I know that some people will, this was a little bit of a tricky one, because some people will be, you know, have fear. I mean, it's just, okay, but this is not fear-based. There's no fear energy coming through here. It's a very high frequency energy that is coming through, which also can be scary for some people. So I understand that. One of the reasons why too, that I was like not forcing to do a light language activation for this, is I really don't want to scare people, because, you know, some of these things that do come through sound very strange and different anyway, but it's a little challenging to do Zeta speak. It's just, I mean, I can do it, but it would really sound like just like clicks, and just really not really important, I don't feel, to bring forth. But the energy of bringing them and what they have to share and what they have to teach us, and if we so choose for them to also experience, and we have our DNA tied with them. I feel we have what's called quantum entanglement with them, because they have extracted and utilized some of our own humanoid DNA as well to hybridize and genetic, that we are now kind of quantum entangled with them. So that's why I feel like some of us do have contracts to help them, and do have contracts to connect with them. They have a lot to share with us. It's not just about taking. It is if you're talking about those AI technology, or almost like the robotic ones that are very much about taking, because they don't really have that soul integrity. Yes, those are the ones I'm talking about that we need to be very careful of, and to be very aware of, And you'll really know these things because some of those beings just have, it's like they're soulless. They have no, you know, it's like sociopathic behavior. I mean, psychopathic, sociopathic behavior, they just have no sense of respect and honor. You'll know that, okay, because you can sense that. But these beings do have souls, the ones I'm talking about. They may not be as open and as emotional as us. They may be a little bit more Spock-like, okay? They may be a little bit more reserved, but know that they actually have a really strong desire to expand that, and which is the whole reason why I wanted to bring this up, okay? So hopefully that helped you guys and you enjoyed watching and listening and all of that. If you'd like to, again, join the tribe here, please feel free. If you'd like to go onto my website, which is LIGHTSTARCreations.com, you'll be able to get purchase images of this particular image as well as all of my other images. My other art images are all on there in different forms. I have photo prints, metal prints, gator board mounted photo prints, and even some with fleece blankets as well. So there's some options there for you. And I also have all of the different things I do with light language activation to session work. I do tend to get booked up a couple of months ahead, and that's how it's been going at the moment. So you might have to plan ahead with that, but I do have a lot of other things to offer. I have my light language activation foundations class, which you can actually get and download right away. So it's a great way to get not only is a healing experience in there, so you'll get my light language chakra clearing that I actually normally do in my phase 2 sessions with, you know, private sessions. So you get that in a general form in a MP3. You get all sorts of information. You get it in 2 forms too, so it's really powerful. I highly recommend that just because if people don't want to wait that long to get session work, they can get that right away. And lots of other things too. Check out my Oracle deck. Obviously, this is, it's not gonna, like I said, I'm coming out with my next Oracle deck. I'm not going to say too much about it, but all of the images that I have done already will be in that next deck when it's completed, which is in no way, shape, or form coming around the corner. I'm just saying that it's coming hopefully within the next few years. I do say that, but I'm going to be spitting out a lot of new content to try and get the new deck done, at least completed. So this year you'll be seeing a lot of new images. I will say I'm kind of wrapping up with the Star People images. I have one more that I believe I'm going to round it out with 11 of the images there, and then I'm going to be coming out with some other ones that are not necessarily focused on the Star People, but still in other dimensions and realms. So with that said, I love you guys. Again, wishing you all a happy new year, and I'm excited for this new year. I will be back with some new stuff for you as well, so hang tight, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye now.